gonna be my karate teacher?
No. I'm gonna be your sensei.
Are you okay? What the?
Girl's a natural Cobra.
You're the best around, and nothing's gonna ever take you down. So I hope you don't like Cobra Kai.
I almost heard the theme song when you did that. It's not that I don't like Cobra Kai. It was.
Do you love it? Then you don't like it.
Wow. You're a millennial, and it was like everything is
You
like
either love it
or it's trash.
or you don't.
It's not that I didn't love it.
Answer the question, so if you love it, yes or no?
It's not lit or trash all the goddamn time. There's many shades of gray in between. I'm in the middle somewhere. Where I should always be.
In the middle somewhere. As far
Between two men.
web series. It's where I should be on this web series, and it was good. It was absolutely good, but it built me up so much, and my expectations got so high going into each and every episode, and then at the end, it blue-balled me. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's break it down.
All right.
We're not gonna, and folks, we're not gonna discuss each episode. This is not what this show is about.
Yeah, because we only need to really discuss the last two.
Okay. We only need to discuss one. Okay. Notice I pointed that way, not towards the camera.
I mean, because if you think about it, everybody is.
So okay, hold on.
Okay.
Let's break it down.
Okay.
Well, who was your favorite character? Who do you think carried this? Miguel. By far.
Obviously, Miguel character. And it was supposed to be about Johnny, but Miguel was really the heart of this whole series.
Yeah, he was. Okay. Who was your least favorite?
Robbie, because he was the least written person. It was like he was thrown in, forced, and they just did it to have a rival in this whole series.
And I agree, Robbie, out of all the characters, was the most forced. Mm-hmm. His seemed as if they just needed to create a rival when they already had one existing. But overall, I mean, I still give this an A+.
I can't.
Not an A++.
I mean, look, if you're taking a test, and there's 10 questions on the test, and, you know, the last 2 questions you get wrong, that's not an 80. That's a B. It's a B. I'm sorry, you don't get half credit on this test. You got, episode 9 was this, like, you got part of it right, and then you got part of it wrong.
So episode 9, they got half. We're not giving half credit. That's
so here's the
wrong answers.
Look. Here's and the main disagreement we were having. This is you felt the last episode just felt.
The last episode was the worst episode of this whole series. 9 faltered in the fact that it was so goddamn predictable. It's like you knew what was happening. Yes, you knew what was going to happen in episode 9 when it started. I'm sitting here watching it with my kids, and I was like, oh, yeah.
There's going to be this whole misunderstanding where she's going to show up to the party. When he's at the party drinking, I was like, did I write this story? Because that's how lazy this writing is.
Manny, do you by chance know the budget for this film?
No, I do not. But first of all, I got to say something real quick. Okay, Robbie was not forced.
He was.
For one.
He was.
Because he was the conflict with Johnny. Johnny was the main focus on this show. He was not the heart, but the whole thing revolved around nostalgia, and it revolved around the freaking how everything paralleled, you know, the original trilogy and the role reversal.
Okay, and I would
that was the biggest thing.
I would agree with that if Robbie had been there from the episode 1
with that type of like the duality between them two, like this character.
See, we're of 3 different minds here, folks. But
if he not showing up in episode 4 and then trying to show him back in episode 6, and then just this whole thing where he was just trying to be manipulative. He wasn't even trying to be a rival. He was just trying to piss off his dad. You can't make him a rival with somebody else when his point was never to be that.
Well, that's why the whole thing, like what you were talking about, as far as the misunderstandings were causing the role reversals. In a lot. But going back, you said Robbie doesn't show up. Now that version of Robbie does not show up, no. But when they show the picture of him when he was little with the freaking frock or whatever, the picture, you know, he's already there. That character's there. You know he's got a son, so you know eventually he's gonna come out.
My point is that could they have done this whole series without Robbie?
Yes. I agree.
They could have done this.
I agree with Terrence.
How forced he was.
But let me ask you this, because your whole point is you loved it until the episode 8.5 going forward.
Yeah, there you go.
8.5 going forward.
And B.
Okay, so what is it?
B's passing.
What exactly is it that you didn't like about 8.5 going forward?
Okay, so like I said, I thought the party scene was very predictable.
Okay.
I thought it was very predictable, and I thought it was like that's every every teen drama stereotype where like, oh my God, this is such a misunderstanding. You're way overblowing this, and it was like it's totally ruined our relationship in this one moment. You know what? In real life, and I know it's a movie or TV show, and I was like, yeah, people get over stuff like that, but like, you had built so much in this character and who he was. And how nice of a guy, and how yes, and I know you guys want to sit there and say that Cobra Kai changed him. They changed him in one episode.
No, and I'll stop you there. No, so don't forget, this is right after Johnny. This is right after Johnny. This is right after Johnny is having a conversation with him, and he tells him his point of view of what happened in the original Karate Kid, right? Where it was, I had an argument with my girlfriend, right? With my girl, every guy does that. And this guy,
his point, I get it.
And the same thing happened. All Robbie did was soak up. He was listening to what his teacher, what his sensei, his father figure that he looked up to was telling him.
Right.
And so it's just playing out in the same realm. This is, for me, it actually showed how the influence of what this one person did had with the young kid.
But
and really,
I would buy that
if he wasn't the person preaching to him all the time through the whole series. Sensei, you can't do it that way. Sensei, you can't do it that way. Sensei, you can't do it that way.
Yeah, he finally
and he's
bought
like,
into
And on top of that, did Allie forgive Johnny?
there was a change. Don't forget there was the dynamic change between him and his sensei, because Johnny also changed, right? Mm-hmm. Johnny wasn't the same character from episode
saw
1.
that change with Johnny throughout the whole series. Miguel's came in half a damn episode.
you saw him and he was like, you know what? Badass. You're a pussy.
Or did his character
He
change?
softened every
episode.
He changed once he whooped the bully's ass and his friends.
No, I'm not talking about Miguel. No, I'm not talking about Miguel. I'm talking about Johnny.
Yeah, but
You said that he changed that one.
He changed that one episode. No,
He did not.
he stood up for himself. That's it. He just stood up for himself. I've been taking karate for months.
And I'm not gonna get my ass whooped today. I'm sorry. But you know what, Johnny, every episode, he softened. Miguel was the same damn person. Outside of kicking some ass in that one episode, the same damn person until 9.5.
And that whole conversation they had sitting on the curb, where Johnny's telling him, that's what happened.
Couldn't buy that. That's the reason why.
Well,
I couldn't buy it. Okay,
Manny, were you able to find the budget?
Looking up the budget.
I couldn't buy it in that one half of an episode.
What's the budget?
Y'all keep on.
It's very low. I couldn't buy it in that half of an episode. It's like, if that you want to say that's how they wrote it. They wrote it that story made him flip the way he. I couldn't buy it.
I'm completely opposite. I'm completely opposite. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did well in episode 9 because it really showed, okay, wow, I'm listening to my sensei. My girl broke my heart. Mm-hmm. This is what an alpha does. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm going to do because someone's interrupted me. Right? Someone's not letting me have my time with my girl. Right. And don't forget, this is after he showed up to their house and saw them eating, after she made excuses of why she couldn't answer the phone, which we all know what happened, but in his mind, he doesn't know any of that. Right. All he knows is she's not returning the calls. He shows up to her house. He's getting ready to introduce himself. Mm-hmm. That's where it showed he was heartbroken. That's where it showed, man, she's ditching me for another guy. She doesn't want to introduce me to her dad. She doesn't want any of this stuff. And then I show up and there's this, because not just different cultures, but also, she comes from a very affluent family, and he comes from a very poor family, right? So all these different lives, completely different. All this changes to him, so he goes to the party. He sees the same thing that was there, right?
By the way,
is that not the way you would react? Ask me this question: if your girl was not answering her phone, you show up to her house.
You would change in one.
I guarantee you. So if you saw that guy with your girl, I saw you.
I'll give you my answer.
Okay.
I'll give you my answer. I've been taking months in karate and stuff like that. I already whooped the bully's ass in school. Yeah, that dude's getting his ass whooped. But you know what? I'm gonna apologize to my girl the next day, and we're gonna be good.
And if she's upset about it, I'm not gonna be a jerk in the goddamn.
I'm not gonna be a jerk.
You're also not 16 years old.
I'm also not 16 years old. Okay, so
you wanted
when it happened to Daniel LaRusso in the original Karate Kid, when he wasn't getting introduced to the family and stuff like that, so.
Yeah, and he was mad too, remember?
He was mad, but you know what? They didn't do this whole thing where like he flips, and it was like.
No, because they had 2 hours.
10 episodes to fill, Terrence. We had 10 episodes to fill. So, like I said, that was my only point, and it's like I thought what would have been better, because I feel like we're just hounding on the same points. What I thought would have been better is that the Hawk character. I thought they showed his transition earlier than they showed Miguel. And I think if they had shown Miguel at the same point do that type of transition with Hawk, I would have understood it more.
No,
I needed to see it earlier.
I loved
it earlier.
I loved how everybody
of it going on. I didn't need to like.
No, because everybody.
Oh my God, you're a jerk.
Everybody evolves little by little, right? Or at different places. Miguel was a new guy in school, so he hadn't been bullied as much. You know, Hawk, before he was Hawk, he was a kid with the lip. He had a cleft lip that repaired. He had been growing up. So yeah, his transformation. Wow, I'm gonna kick some butt. This is what my sensei is telling me I need to do. Right. So he comes back the very next day with a freaking mohawk and a freaking tattoo. Right? It's like he really embraced it. Miguel was slow. It's like freaking water on a rock. Right? It's going slowly. It's going. Drop by drop.
This sounds like patience right here is what you're saying, is that he wouldn't instantly do that because
when he does,
splits the rock.
But when he does.
All right. So in my other point, before you start, my other point is that, like we were talking about how weak Robbie was, is that they really should have focused more on Daniel LaRusso's daughter, because they built her up so much in this series, and to make Robbie a rival, I thought was them forcing it. It would have made more sense for her to say, at that point in the party, she was like, hey, because we threw Robbie, and Robbie entered last minute, the same way Daniel LaRusso did. You can enter last in the Ohio Valley, or what is it?
All Valley. Ohio. It's in California. What the hell? Why are they going to compete in Ohio?
Valley Karate Tournament, you don't have to pre-register. You can just show up on the day of the competition and get in with all the spots are still open. So she could have been like, you know, tomorrow when I see you at the competition, I'm going to enter. And I would have been like, ooh, that's interesting.
The Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, that's Miyagi-Do karate. That would have been interesting to me. Or she didn't say it, and she just happened to, and the surprise entrant would have been her. I would have, because then it would have made him have to understand,
like, am I trying to win, or am I just trying to prove a point? That would have made more sense to me in the show, but because they threw Robbie in there, which you saw coming, they're like, okay, Robbie's going to show up in the competition.
So, the main reason why you don't like this movie, from what I'm gathering, is that you don't like the way 16-year-olds really react in real life.
That's what it is. I hate kids. I hate kids.
So, I want them to react as they would as an adult.
I hate kids.
A 16-year-old. Okay, no,
I don't need to watch any more teen dramas, is what this trying to say.
On a side note, my other nitpick that I have about this movie was Daniel LaRusso.
I actually was okay with it. I like him being jerky. I love
the fact that he was a jerk, because
confidence exceeded more because he became successful in life.
Yeah.
And I like that, because he wasn't as confident. I mean, he was kind of a snot-nosed kid and he was a little jerky, but the power that he had learning karate, it didn't skew him like to where like it made him a bully, but because he became successful, you know, he kind of felt himself, and he was like,
yeah, I love that part. I just thought his acting was horrible.
I mean, he was never a good actor in the original one. I mean, did you watch Karate Kid Part 2?
Well, I haven't seen Johnny in anything either, and his acting was way better than
maybe Johnny's been taking classes, man. He's been taking classes.
Yeah, he spent all his money on classes. That's why he had a crappy apartment and still driving that older car.
No budget on the show. But 20 million views.
Oh yeah, this is gonna get us. It's gonna get.
Oh, they already signed up. They already set it up.
It is getting a second season.
Yeah.
It's actually was seen more by than shows on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu.
Wow.
So
Netflix never releases their actual statistics, so that's kind of hearsay.
Yeah. And they have not. YouTube Red has not, but they do only have 1.5 million subscribers. So
I mean, a lot of people told it, and even with the fact that people who weren't subscribed,
I subscribed to YouTube Red just for the show, and I loved it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it.
No, it's worth a watch. It's definitely worth a watch.
Did you sign up for YouTube Red, or?
Actually, I'm on YouTube Red now. That's the reason why I saw it. That was like the first thing I'm gonna watch is Cobra Kai, so you get off my back. And so yeah, I would definitely.
You can totally binge watch this show too.
I watched it about with like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, you can do this on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday evening when you just want to knock it out.
It was an easier binge watch than season 2 of Luke Cage. Sorry, that's it. But if this is the first time you guys watch the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you guys thought about Cobra Kai. If you're on the B to B minus version that I'm on, or the A plus that he gave it, because you'd be wrong. But make sure you put that in the comments below, and like I said, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Arts, take us home. Give us some more Cobra Kai love.
You're the best around, and nothing's gonna ever take you down.
That was my other gripe with this show, is that they didn't play it. They played the stupid Young Hearts.
Yeah, you should have had your chance to do that.
They played that.
Y'all guys have a nice evening. We'll talk to y'all later.
They played Young Hearts, and then they don't play best around. I'm like, what?
Maybe they didn't have rights to it.
You buy the rights, man.
But if there was no budget.
But they got the other song.
Because it wasn't famous. That person was...
I knew it when it played. It was like, oh, they played the original Date song. They played